but and so yeah, so last but not least, of course, we have Lydie Bernal, recently joining CTAHR as the one of the Oahu Farm to School coordinators. And I mean, this is so important, especially in terms of thinking about, the new legislation and institutional purchasing, schools as a lifeline to our future workforce. And there's so many connections. And so anyway, with that, we'll turn it to you, Lydie. Thank you.
Thank you. Aloha, everybody. So I am new to CTAHR as of this past summer as the Oahu Farm to School coordinator, and happy to share with you all about how Farm to School fits into transforming Hawaii's food systems. So important to understand the scope of Farm to School. It does include local school food. It also really depends on involving students in the whole process. So growing foods on school campuses in gardens and farms and other methods of growing, and then incorporating nutrition education into the classroom or taking students out to farms to visit farmers, and then sometimes chefs come to schools and do demonstrations. So it's this very broad picture of how we build a relationship between young people and food, our aina and the people who are involved in this food system. Here's an olelo no'eau. I wanted to share that I relate to this work, Wa'ola loko i ke aloha. Love is imperative to one's mental and physical well-being. And I bring this forward as a former garden teacher. That's how I started this work. Just having recognized that love lives in the garden with children. And to me, this work is really about total well-being. And I feel so passionate about Farm to School and the many opportunities for physical health and beyond, including connecting kids with a sense of purpose, sense of place, and a sense of agency when it comes to Hawaii's sustainability. Farm to School is a major effort across the Pai'aina. So the work really began with these 5 island level networks, each growing from the ground, the grassroots up. And in 2010, those all came together to form a statewide hui. So the Hawaii Farm to School hui is still alive and well. It's a program now of Hawaii Public Health Institute, local nonprofit organization. And this statewide hui involves over 40 public-private partners. There are about 10 working groups on topics ranging from curriculum and professional development to legislation, to school food, to school gardens, early care and education, and beyond. So very active group. And I wanted to highlight some of the legislative wins that have happened over the years, starting in 2015. There was a Farm to School program established by the legislature in the Department of Agriculture that has since last year, 2021, been moved out of Department of Ag and into the DOE. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. P20, or preschool through post-secondary agriculture education, has been a long-standing effort that CTAHR has been involved in. Is, how do we create a framework of support for this continuum to make sure all students are experiencing agriculture and food systems education at every level? October is Farm to School month, now in statute in Hawaii. So that's coming up, and it's a great opportunity to celebrate Farm to School. And let's take a look at these other 2 really important acts that have been passed recently. So this is what happened last year in 2021. The Hawaii Farm to School program was formally established within the Hawaii Department of Education. I think these program purposes are really important to be aware of because they are very holistic. Like you saw that picture with the 3 core elements. It is about improving school food. It's also about student health, an educated agricultural workforce, garden and farm-based education, and expanding relationships between public schools and agricultural communities. Another thing to know about this legislation is that it has set a goal of 30% local school food by 2030. One of the challenges we've had is that for the past 2 years, this coordinator position has been vacant. So it's been a challenge in terms of all the progress that was made pre-COVID and then trying to get things back up to speed. These are the farm to state goals. So this is a separate act, and it includes DOE, but also several other state entities. And I wanted to make sure everybody knows that these are the goals that our legislature has set for these 5 state entities. And we're looking to make sure this effort is well supported, whether it's from the governor's office or wherever that may be, but there needs to be dedicated effort to work out these systems and to get us to these goals. In terms of what I'm working on here on Oahu, just a few selected projects and partnerships. I'm really happy to say there's a lot of interest and energy around planting more food trees in schools. And so Hawaii Public Health Institute is really helping to lead that effort. There's a number of other tree folks involved. Teacher professional development is something we're doing in close partnership with Go Farm for the first time this school year. So just starting this coming Saturday, we'll be hosting about 40 teachers at Go Farm Waialua to bring garden basics, basically, you know, how do you grow food properly using the amazing expertise of Go Farm and translating that for the school environment. We've just seen a huge interest among teachers and we have a long waiting list. So this work will be growing for sure. And finally, this project is part of the Farm to School Toolkit that we host on the Get Local website. And the Harvest of the Month component, which is a tool that many farm to school programs use to introduce students to a specific crop through educational materials and tastings. So here, it's been a partnership with the Hawaii Ulu Co-op and others to develop lesson plans and then farm to school sampler boxes for 4 local staple crops. That's ulu, kalo, uala, and pala'ai, breadfruit, taro, sweet potato, and pumpkin. There are short videos, coloring pages, discussion questions, and then, as I mentioned, these tasting boxes that make it really simple for either a classroom to order one to distribute packs to their students, or for a cafeteria to order this minimally processed product and then prepare it school-wide. So we're encouraging schools to especially, you know, give this a try during October Farm to School Month. And I also look forward to working with more food hubs and food producers to connect their product with schools through opportunities such as this one. And with that, I will say mahalo.
Thank you so much, Lady. Really, really awesome work. So Anya has requested